Welcome back to the Gunn Show, my friends. It's good to see you. Can you see me too? Wait, it should be reversed. I can't see you. You can see me, but we're talking IMTS today. We're talking machine monitoring today. We're talking MachineMetrics with my buddy Graham today. So everyone put your hands together and welcome Graham to the show, a superstar here in manufacturing with one heck of a background. But today, IMTS, what are we going to expect? What can we see? Why do we go to the booth? What are we going to learn about? How can it help us? Yeah. Lots to talk about today. So Graham, thank you for being here. You are incredible here in South Florida. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Welcome back to the Gunn Show, my friends. This is the VIP edition.
Oh, man, it's my pleasure to be here, Tony. The ineffable Tony Gunn.
Oh, what a fun word.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's ever used that word to describe me before.
No, I don't think anyone's ever had a name much cooler than yours, so I feel like it fits you really nicely.
Well, back in my hip-hop days, it was T-Gun, but we'll skip right past that.
We shouldn't.
But we're gonna today. Today is IMTS, not hip-hop. However, if you're looking to go to MachineMetrics and learn more about that, the booth is 133108. You can talk with Graham and his team directly. Graham, I'm excited about IMTS as a whole, but super excited to have you here today to talk about when I step on your booth. When folks step on your booth, you have something pretty big in the works that you want to share.
We do. You know, Tony, this will be my third IMTS since I've been in MachineMetrics. I remember the first one was the craziest experience of my life. I had no idea how huge this event really is. And it's only gotten bigger since over the last couple of years. But yeah, we're really excited. We're releasing some incredible new things. I think MachineMetrics has, in many ways, like many good companies, right, continued to reinvent itself, right? And I remember when I first, started at this company about 8 years ago, and we were the new hotness, right? We were the new thing on the block, and machine monitoring was the talk of the town, and everybody was so excited about this new technology, right? And here we are 8 years ago, right? And while I would say a lot of companies and that technology stayed the same, MachineMetrics has been continuing to skate where the puck is going, right? For a Wayne Gretzky analogy for you there. And so, at IMTS, we're releasing and sort of re-releasing our company, in some ways. Previously, the concept of machine monitoring, right, which really has been around since the 1980s, is not that stupendous or crazy. Visualize what's happening, right? Now, there's, shades of that, like what's really happening, right? But generally, connect to this machine, get data, right, and visualize it for people. Right? But the thing is, the world has changed, right? Less people, less resources, right? That gray generation, right, which previously had all this tribal knowledge, they're going away, right? Manufacturers bought a ton of machines, right, during these automation years that maybe they didn't need all of them, right? And they're finding themselves yet still capacity constrained, right? So what we're really excited to show off at IMTS is the evolution of machine monitoring, really, which we call production intelligence. And the concept is really simple. The machine data on the factory floor is not enough, right? Machines, right, in many ways, they are the bleeding heart, right? They're the center, right, of manufacturing operations, especially in machine shops, right? But not just in machine shops, you've got, we work with hundreds of customers all over the world. By the way, just a quick side note, I can now say that we are on every continent of the world.
Congratulations.
Except for Antarctica.
Soon. It's coming soon, I'm sure.
Listen, if there is a manufacturing in Antarctica, please reach out to MachineMetrics because we want to be able to say that we are on every continent.
And you'll invite me to that one, I hope, as well.
We'll definitely do an on-site for that.
Awesome.
But the game has changed, right? Because on the factory floor, right, you don't have the same number of people, you don't have the same resources. And on the flip side of that, right, companies have instituted ERP systems, right? And these systems are set up using estimations, right? How we quote, how we schedule, how we plan our whole business is driven essentially without real-time data from the factory floor. And that was the whole premise of MES, right? MES was supposed to be this middle layer, right, that existed between operations, our plan, right, and our business. Orders come in, right? Something happens, so we get stuff out the door, right? And then we ship it out to customers, and we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again, right? Some companies do that, 12 different ways. all over the world. But the challenge has always been that these two sides of the business, right, operations and what's actually happening in the factory floor, are disconnected.
I was going to say best friends.
Yeah, best friends.
Definitely not. No, definitely disconnected.
Lickety split.
As all the machine shops I've worked on, all the shop floors I've worked on, agreed. There's a disconnect.
Yeah, there's a disconnect, right? And so, what we've sort of come to the realization, and we've been planning this for a long time, was that we knew that ERP is not enough. We also knew that machine monitoring was enough. What we wanted to do was combine the two, right? When you connect the business plan and what is happening on the factory floor together, they create this like unified power that we call intelligence, right? And through that intelligence, you can use real-time data and analytics to drive not just insights, but actual decisions that help you determine, this job's not going to be done on time. Here's how you can, move a job from here to here, and which is the right machine to do it, so we can ensure that everything gets through the factory floor, right? This job can be run faster than another job, right? All that can tie back into your central business systems on the fly without you needing, manual data entry, right? And whiteboards and pieces of paper and terminals that just have people clicking in data all day, because as we know, people are our most precious asset. Right. So the first release within this is we call it production intelligence, and scheduling intelligence is where we take real-time work orders from the ERP. We can interface with any ERP system. Out-of-the-box integrations. So I mean clickable integrations with Epicor Kinetic and Infor Visual, but we've also developed an easy to implement CSV integration. So we can also pull in work orders and operations from any ERP, whether you've got, Fulcrum or ProShop or SAP or Oracle or Plex or whatever.
Nice name drops. I like those guys.
Whatever ERP you have, right? Pull that data into MachineMetrics, right? And then you can actually track the status of those work orders in real time using real-time feedback from the machines that are actually running those operations. And then we can flag when things are falling off schedule and even recommend adjustments to the manufacturers in real time so they can hit their on-time delivery goals, reduce that WIP, and get more stuff to customers faster. And that's the goal.
I'm going to ask you a question. It's kind of a long-winded question and complex at the same time. So
Long-winded? I don't know what that, I don't even know what that, what do you mean? What does that mean?
It means you've described everything really well and in detail, so thank you for that. And I hope I can articulate this in a form that makes sense for the audience and for you. I heard a stat from some friends not too long ago, a consulting company that said, if we have 100% of the companies out there, 50% of the population works for 1% of those companies, and 50% of the population works for the other 99%. And it's more or less saying that the large companies have about 50%, and the small to medium-sized shops have the other half, right? If that's true, or a stat similar to that is true, I would also make the discussion that the large shops kind of get machine monitoring and have since the 80s and have watched the evolution. And in times, they know that they need it, but it's just who they're going to work with. Where I would make the discussion, certainly in small shops and potentially medium shops as well, where they go, I can do this on my own. I'm not big enough. I don't need machine monitoring. But you and I sitting here today would respectfully disagree with that. And what I would like, the question, once I finally get to it, what I would like to do today is kind of build that bridge of truly understanding that group of people, those small and medium-sized shops that I know you have such great success in, that don't have the size capacity of those massive shops that are out there that everyone knows. Let's build a bridge today to say, look, here's the basics of machine monitoring. This is what MachineMetrics can do. And then from that, if we could leapfrog back into this latest and greatest that you're getting ready to release at IMTS for a whole world to see, that's a massive game changer. And I know that's a cliche word, but what I want to do is I want to build steps to understanding. I want everyone we're looking at what, 80, 90, 100,000 people at IMTS, plus everyone we're reaching currently with the podcast, plus everyone we reach on digital every single day. I want to do the very best we can today to allow everyone who needs to stop manually inputting data into our systems and go, okay, MachineMetrics can help me. Let's automate this whole thing. We are short of people. I'm spending far more time than I should trying to organize everything, and this can help me, I guess, organize a lot better.
Ed
EBITDA Growth Systems, we guarantee to double your value in 3 years. Well, instead of telling you about a guarantee, how about if I tell you a story? We had a shop owner come to us at an event saying, I'm not sure if you can help us. He said, we have our credit lines maxed out in our business. I have a second mortgage on my home, it's maxed out. I'm not sure what to do. I have a payroll coming up next week and I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Can you help us? We said we weren't sure, so we came in and we came alongside of him. In 18 months, he went from not having any money to having over $800,000 in the bank and having a 6 times exit what his value was at that day. And now he's living a life that he always dreamed of with his family. And it's fantastic, and that's what's really rewarding for us, and that's what EBITDA Growth Systems is all about. If you want to know more about EBITDA Growth Systems, go to www.ebitagrowthsystems.com, EBITDA growthsystems.com, and go to our contact page where I will reach out to you personally.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, everything that I'm about to say, you got to take it for a grain of salt. I'm the chief revenue officer here at MachineMetrics, right? So technically, I have everything to gain from manufacturers, wanting to use our technology, right? But so let's earmark that, all right? Now, with that said, it is no longer a time where manufacturers can choose to have software within their factories. That time has passed, right? And because the guy across the street is doing it, right? And we know that the world has never been more competitive, right? So I think you miss an order, right? You miss an on-time delivery. You miss you misproduce something, and it's like you're out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So also, to your point before, we're seeing a huge verticalization happen right now, right? It's that like the big fish and the little fish and the littler fish and the little fish. This is what happened in pharma, right? The decade ago, right? Where the pharma supply chain completely verticalized, right? And now here you have manufacturing. And to your point, I believe that it's even more than 50% machine shops.
It might be.
I think it is. Although people, you're probably right? But I bet about
more machine shops, but 50% of the people.
Yeah, no, you're totally right.
Yeah.
But I believe there's probably 80+% of these
small to medium size,
SMB, right?
Yeah.
And with that is hyper competitive, right? Because the machines have never become more automated, right? But the skills, right? Those unique programmers, you're seeing a lot of customers out there that are, bringing, incredible programmers and managers into management because they are such uniquely valuable assets to their business, right? But meanwhile, we have customers that just literally cannot pay enough to get people working on the shop floor, right? So, reducing turnover of those people's, that's everything to our customers, right? Meanwhile, you still have to work, right? And, with that, that is the challenge. How do you make it easy, right, to do that? Software like MachineMetrics, definitely helps customers in this regard because it reduces the need for people to have to do stuff that frankly is just inundative to their days, right? So, before, and this is the basics, right? I mean, MachineMetrics, do we do this better than a lot of companies? Sure, right? But any machine monitoring company, right, making it really easy to get data from the factory floor, right? Connecting to all these different machines, right? That data that customers are using, stopwatches, right? Or timesheets, right? Or even manual data entry into a terminal. Almost everybody does it. And what's fascinating is the number one thing that I hear from customers, and I can tell you this, 90+% of calls I'm on, a customer, whether they're a tiny machine shop or they're one of the biggest companies in the world, like sheepishly says, I know we're behind everybody else.
Oh, man.
It's amazing. So what we've seen, and let's just talk a little bit about the scheduling of the work, right? Because this is obviously related to what we do, right? Manufacturers have one thing they want to do, right? When they get orders, they want to get it through to the customer on time and of the highest quality. And at the most efficiently as they can, right? You want to bake it all down. That's what matters, right? Some companies, they want to do it so they can get their own parts to their own assembly operations, right? So they can continue to make these different parts. And take a look at the Ford Bronco, right? Like those were delayed for over a year just because the moonroofs, right, themselves, like one part, right, could not get done in time, right? So how does this all connect? Well, machine monitoring accounts for the machines, right? But these unique CNC machines are so smart, right? They run these programs that actually tell you what operations are being made in real time. You don't need an operator, right, to say, oh, this is what I'm working on, because that data already exists within the program itself. MachineMetrics, we have a proprietary program scraping technology that we look and parse the program or the subprogram for a unique identifier that signifies what operation is being made. So now what you do is with a basic integration, you can compare those operations and their standards with that of the ERP without any manual data entry required. And that's interesting, right? Because it's like, all right, now we know that we're not making parts as fast as we thought we would, right? But there's a bigger picture here, right? Because, okay, yeah, we could have quoted that more aggressively. We could have probably gone to the customer faster, or at least we can tell the customer that it's actually going to be here versus here, right? You and I, big communicators, right? We know communication is everything, right? But when you add an additional layer of context, right? So, for example, when MachineMetrics and our unique platform capabilities pulls in the work orders from the ERP themselves, we can actually tie what operation and what SKU is being run to the work order that's being worked on in real time. And those real-time cycle time analytics can provide sort of like Google Maps, estimated on-time delivery for those different operations automatically.
Wow.
And that's what customers really want to know, right? Yeah, we could have quoted this more aggressively, but what I call that is diagnostic analytics, right? That's what happened, right? And what customers, the journey that we see customers take usually begins with a concept called descriptive analytics, right? Like what's going on, describing the situation, right? And many customers don't have that, right? For example, right? You're a company and you rely on an MES terminal. Operator clocks in. Hey, this is what I'm working on. Something happens. And then at the end of the day, we enter the number of parts that were produced, right? And we click stop. Now, parts produced during that day, right? And the hours is your cycle time, right?
More or less.
Wrong.
Yeah, clock in, clock out with parts in the middle, right?
Wrong,
That's
right?
simple math.
You and me know that that's not right because what did we do when we first got here? We like to shoot the you-know-what, right?
Get a cup of coffee, stand by the water bucket.
Yeah, drink some water.
Today.
Right? Yeah, today, this morning. and it's not a true reflection of what's really happening. Now, these, whether you're a small or large manufacturer, that is how business is done, right? So from one way, it's like, all right, the ERP, right, is driven by manual data, right? And that manual data we know is not truly a reflection of what happened during that period. Maybe setup went over, right? Maybe changeover. Maybe the operator, as they should. Maybe they had to go to the bathroom, right? Whatever it is, right?
As they should.
As they should, as they deserve to do.
Sure.
Right? And long story short, these two things, but they're not a reflection of what really happened because they don't have the context. Right, Tony?
Graham, I know you're leading to something awesome, and I want to give you a real life example of what you're describing because machine shop I worked in we had about 40 CNC machines, right? Pretty basic machines, but CNC machines and older machines. We would walk in. Every machine would be loaded with work, OD, ID, and there were single operations. We weren't multitasking at this time. This was about 2000, 2003, around that time, right? And I would say, because these machines were older, that between myself and a couple of maintenance guys, 20% of those machines would be down per day that we were working on. And so we then had to manipulate other machines to do the jobs that these machines weren't able to do, which took time, which then removed some of that time from the other parts that needed. My point is, what you've described, clock in, clock out, math in the middle, absolutely does not work in a regular machine shop.
It does not. And it leads to all sorts of downtime, and misestimations, and the ERP which is supposed to be the center of our business, right? Rife with manual data entry and inaccuracy, right? So how do we solve this problem? A couple ways, right? Firstly, MachineMetrics has launched automated job tracking. So we developed a labor ticket application right within MachineMetrics, right? So when an operator starts running an operation, right, they're associated with a work order, with a click of a button or through an automated capability, we can associate what's being made on the machine with a given work order. And at the end of that run, right, which we're measuring using the real-time data from the machine, right, not some estimation, an operator can actually submit a labor ticket right from a MachineMetrics interface back into the ERP. And that labor ticket is not manually entered, right? But it is in fact automatically propagated with real-time data from the machine itself.
And tooling?
What about tooling?
Does tooling go? So let's say I get a job. In these days in the automated world, let's say I have a pallet changer with 40 pallets on it, and I'm running. Let's say I can do mix and match, or I can just run 100 or 1,000 or 100,000 of a job, right? But this order comes in, and I am 50% missing the tooling that I need in order to get this job done. Is there connectivity to that as well?
Hey everybody, Mike Franz here with Shop Floor Coffee. For 20 years, we've been seeing the same issues going on with workforce development and the shortage in workers across the industry. We wanted a way to give back. Shop Floor Coffee is our way to do that. Proceeds from every bag or every type of coffee you buy from us go back to the community. We work with amazing programs and initiatives across the country where we're giving back. We want to help support the community. Come together with us. Join us in this effort to help support the community. Please, thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. And
I like that answer.
I'm gonna get to tooling for you. We're getting there later because I'm
Awesome.
gonna get to our third release, which is really exciting, right? So, but hold that thought just for a minute,
Sure.
all right?
Okay.
So now we're getting real accurate data, right, in an easy to use mechanism back into any ERP system. All right. Boom. Problem one solved. Right. Now, here's the other problem. Right. You worked in a machine shop, Tony, so you know that when a plan, right, is made within that ERP system, rarely, as you just described, does it go according to plan, right?
Rarely.
Now, I would put you on the spot. What did you
please
guys do?
do. I love that.
What did you guys do in those moments? Did you like, how did you adjust that plan on the fly? Did you just wing it? Did you have like a Kanban board, an Excel spreadsheet?
All of it, but most of it would be tribal knowledge and winging it. It would. I mean, we had a whiteboard, we had Excel spreadsheets, we had we even had what we called I Think software, which is Six Sigma but automated.
Yep.
So we had these options to choose from, but I would make the discussion that 9 out of 10 times we just put on our gloves and went to work and just. We used to have this saying, turning chicken shit into chicken salad. And we had to do that every single day. And it was okay. It was fun. And we learned a lot of making things out of nothing or out of difficult situations. But to have a system like you're describing to me, on the inside, I don't know if you could tell on the outside, Graham, but on the inside, I get really excited because it would have been so much. Time would have been saved, money would have been saved, resources would have been saved. All of this would have been on. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world to me.
Man, and what's wild is we interviewed hundreds of companies to make sure we get this right? So, and everyone said the same thing, Tony. Mm-hmm. Well, we got a Kanban board on the wall, right? Or somebody's figuring out this factory floor schedule on the fly using an Excel spreadsheet.
Yep.
And we're like, okay, this is validated. We knew what we needed to do here, right? So what we developed was we call it our automated scheduling intelligence, right? So we take those work orders, right? We take that real-time data from the machines itself, right? And we provide our customers not just with a dashboard, but with a live view of how we're tracking relative to those work orders, right? And then just like Google Maps, right? We present to the customer estimated on-time deliveries, but we're also circling and flagging work that you thought that you were going to hit and be able to work on that day that realistically is never going to happen based on the plan that you created without the actual data from the factory floor. And then, just to cap that off, what we're allowing the customer is a very simple drag and drop mechanism that not just circles and flags them, but allows them to reconfigure and reshuffle work to machines that can run those operations on the fly. So you can essentially kiss that whiteboard and that Kanban board and that Excel spreadsheet goodbye because all of this is automated in a single interface that makes it really effing easy for the customer.
Effing easy.
Effing.
I like
freaking
that.
for the world. That's what we were insinuating. Freaking.
Graham, well, I'm enjoying this conversation. Our clock says 0, but we're going to keep talking for a little bit.
Wow,
yeah,
we could talk forever.
We really can, and that's okay. And I want to get into some of the other aspects as well. I don't know this answer, but I have I'm a very curious mind, and learning from you is fascinating to me. If I'm playing in MachineMetrics software, is it for me, or can it be almost like a sliding scale? You mentioned something to me that popped up just now, and it was pretty much you're going to get a circle. You're going to get an idea of if you implement this plan here, these quoted parts that were going to go out are not going to make it. But what if I did a sliding scale and said, well, I will get 20 of these out. Now can I do these 2 jobs over here that you said I couldn't? Does it work kind of like I can
scenario
really
planning?
Yeah.
You can absolutely use this data to scenario plan.
I like that.
That is the key, right?
So then I'm maximizing all the time to make sure all my clients and partners are taken care of.
So using advanced analytics, right? And this is, again, where the puck is going, right? Using AI, machine learning, right? We can take all those plans and provide an optimal plan that actually gives you the most likely throughput, right? Now, to do that, right, means you got to do this a lot of different times, right? So not from day one, right? But the goal, right? And this is sort of where I was going earlier. What is happening, right? Descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics. Why is it happening, right? Using real-time cycle time analytics and downtime to say, oh, well, your cycle time was misestimated, and because it takes you a really long time to reload your bar, right, or whatever, right?
Setup, breakdown.
Yeah, setup, breakdown, et cetera, right? But then the next one is like, okay, well, what's going to happen next, or under these circumstances, what would happen next if we replanned and reshuffled? And then that's what we call a predictive analytics, right? What's going to happen in the future, and then, but this is really where everybody wants to go, prescriptive analytics, right? I don't just want you to tell me what might happen. I want you to tell me what to do about it, right? So, and this is the key to the skills gap, because if you have people that don't know how to read data, right? No matter how good your dashboard is and your reporting and whatever, customers don't want. That's not what they want. What they want is answers. Tell me what I need to do. Right? And with MachineMetrics and our new intelligence capabilities, we're making that possible for customers. And in many ways, I feel like we're changing the game, right? Because, do we have really sexy dashboards and reports? Of course we do, everybody. We got
Super
those.
sexy.
Don't be afraid, right? We got those, right? But the thing is, right, that's not where the puck is going, right? Where the puck is going is in being able to tell customers what they need to actually do, right? And that allows anybody, whether you're a 70-year, manufacturer has been doing this for your whole life, or you're just a new person coming out of college, working on the factory floor, the right information they need at the right time to take action. And that is what will help us solve problems today.
I like that you brought that whole thing full circle, by the way, with that hockey analogy.
It's almost like almost like I planned it.
Have you done this before?
Never done it. This is my first one.
First time ever, huh? This is cool. All right, so let's close this thing out, Graham. But let's close it out with just reaching out to everyone who's listening right now and saying, come to our booth. We've elongated why to come to our booth. Let's just do a quick summary. Come to our booth. Come say hi. This is what you'll see. Here's our booth number, 133108. MTD will be there on Thursday, 3 to 5.
Oh, yeah.
We're excited
Happy
about
hour,
that,
everybody.
which is September 12th. We'll be excited. Yeah, happy hour as well. So swing by, give us a high five, a slap on our butts, a good game, all that fun stuff. Do a hockey thing like Graham did. But we'll be there for sure. We'll be there filming. But yeah, give us a quick summary. This is what we're going to see.
Yeah, so first of all, 133108, right? That's us. You'll find our awesome booth there. We're going to be doing live demos of real-time production intelligence, right? Automated ERP integrations, right? Easy, simple labor ticket applications. Live production schedules that augment and adapt on the fly using production data from actual machines on the factory floor, right? We'll also be showing off our new tool anomaly detection that allows us to use high-speed data directly from the control to predict microfractures and issues with tools that could lead to scrap parts and defects. And the best part about that technology, no additional sensors required, people. We're using that directly from the real-time data from machines. So you don't need a $13,000 setup anymore to do that type of information. Helps you ensure that you're delivering quality parts to your customers on time, right? So these are just a few of the amazing capabilities, including configurable dashboards. You can come and build your own dashboard on the fly in about 5 seconds. Even a Neanderthal like myself can do it. It really is that easy, right? And that's what it's all about, right? It's about empowering customers, and MachineMetrics is really like, we've really taken that to the next level, and we just couldn't be more excited to show, the industry what they've been waiting for.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn more. I'm excited for today. Also, and don't let me commit any of your existing success stories, but you will have customers popping in and out of the booth that can share their success through MachineMetrics and what they've done, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the beautiful parts of working here. I remember when I first started MachineMetrics, we had 2 customers, right? That was 8 years ago. Today, we have hundreds of customers all over the world that love using our technology, and they're going to be there talking, sharing their stories. And rest assured, we're not paying anyone to be there, right? We develop great relationships with our customers, right? We love our customers. We're customer obsessed, just like you, Tony, right? We always want to make them happy. And it's not just about the technology, right? It's about the support, the service. We really care. I don't know if you can tell. We're passionate about what we do. We really care about delivering incredible tech to our customers and making an amazing experience. So they'll be there telling their stories, and you can talk to any of them at any given moment. I'd like to think that any customer will speak to the experience that they have and what they've been able to achieve using the MachineMetrics intelligence platform.
Well, we are way out of time, Graham, but because of what you just said, I have another thing I'd like you to express, if that's all right with you.
All right.
Way out of time, but I don't care. We're going beyond the time limit, which is before we hit record today, you shared a story about when you were onboarded with MachineMetrics and how you felt when you first saw something you internally said, this is making a difference. This is because you just described to me that it matters to you, that it matters that you're helping people create success, much like myself, as you mentioned. But that was what you initially felt from day one, is this makes a difference. Would you mind describing that feeling?
I will. So two very quick anecdotes to this, right? So the first was I met Eric and Bill and Jacob at an accelerator conference. And, I will leave out the part about how, the company I was working at the time might have beaten them, but we'll leave that out, right? Just for the record, right? We don't even need to talk about that, right, at this event, right? But
we'll leave that out.
We'll leave that out, yeah, right? We don't even need to mention that. But to be fair, I work for them now, right? And when I saw what they were doing, I just couldn't help think to myself, I was like, this is huge. Like what these guys are trying to do, this is more than just some app, right? These guys are trying to automate and bring digital transformation to an industry that so desperately needs it, right? And I'll like, to follow up, they invited me to have the opportunity to join them at MachineMetrics, and I showed up the first day, and Bill, our CEO, was sitting on a milk crate outside of the office on some phone call, and I'm sort of like, what's he doing? And I see that he's given up his desk to another person at the company so they could take a call in there, and I just was like, this place is where I'm meant to be. And so, from then on, like that's sort of that's the ethos of our business. Like we're a very flat organization. We all support each other, even though, we're much bigger than that small little office, that we used to be in. And, we really care about what we do, and we care a lot about our customers. And, I hope that everybody out there, in the end, like, business is not just, whoever said there's no personal in business has never done business. Business is totally personal, right? It's not just about the numbers, right? And I like to think that we create a great experience for our customers. We care a lot about them, make them happy, and we also share that within our own business too. We care a lot about our team members and our employees, and I think that's maybe why we've been so successful. I mean, we're the global leader in what we do. When we started in just a tiny little office, 8 years ago, so it's pretty amazing.
With a milk carton.
With a milk carton.
I imagine you'd be the type of person that would do that for someone else as well.
I wouldn't think twice about it, Tony.
Yeah, very well said, Graham. Thank you so much. For everyone watching and listening right now on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, the MTD website, a couple of things I'd like to bring up is visit the booth. If you're going to IMTS 133108, if you're not going to IMTS, check out the videos through MTDCNC. It just might help your company out. Graham is an amazing person. He'll help you feel comfortable. He'll make sure that what you need in your facility is the route that they go to support you. Also, if you're in Antarctica, give us a call as well. We need one more continent through MachineMetrics to get on every continent out there. And I'd like to see a penguin. So if you guys want to invite us both, that would be fantastic. Thank you all for watching, listening, wherever you are around the world. This is my buddy Graham. This is MachineMetrics. We'll see you at IMTS and hopefully far beyond that as well.